Thank you for letting me be myself again. Hot fun in the summertime. Hot fun in the summertime. I wanna take you higher, higher. It's a family affair. All of that from that handsome face back there. Rest in peace now, Sly Stone. And I can do no justice but to just celebrate his music with everyone else. He has such a life. Um, the passing of Sly Stone today, so I thought in honor, I would do a short video just to simply say thank you for the music. It was just liberating, particularly at a time for Black people coming up. The expression of music and authority to the authority to enjoy cultural, unbiased music, I would say. From thank you from letting me be myself to sing a simple song, everyday people. The music was revolutionary. And um, there's no other gratitude but to just celebrate the music and song. And that's simply all I'm doing today, as we have lost yet another Hall of Fame recipient of Sly in the Family Stone. And I am just going to just actually just do a little Wikipedia reading because if you know his life became very complicated by music. He was in a tumultuous lawsuit with his um, agent who was not paying him his royalty for music. And this has been a common thread in the music industry, withholding of royalties and things like that. And I don't want to pay too much time um, in his honor of discussing that, but it became a big piece of his life. And he ended up becoming somewhat of a recluse and had such difficulties and hardships because his money was locked away from him. So that is a part of his story. And so are the usage of drugs a part of his story. However, let's just take a short journey into this person who sings everyday people, and he was never just an everyday person. So bear with me as I read along because I want to be accurate. I just love him. Look at that fro. That fro. Oh, I love it. So let's get started. So Sly Stone actually was born under the name of Sylvester Stone on March 15, 1943, and he passed away today, June 9th, 2025. He was an American musician, songwriter, record producer. He was very famous for being the frontman for Sly and the Family Stone, the group. He played a very pivotal role in funk, bringing funk music into a genre. Now, they say James Brown created funk, but Sly Stone electrified it. So I would have to agree with that. He had a very crucial role in the development of what funk and the pioneering infusion of soul, rock music, psychedelia, and gospel coming together in one sound. So when you hear that sound and you think of that sound and you think of, let's say, I would say George Clinton, who he also played with, um, P-Funk, Funkadelic, Parliament Funkadelic, Bootsy Collins, Sly Stone, Sylvester Stone, and the Sly and the Family Stone. All of that sound of music, psychedelic, funk, fusion funk, came from those artists at that time as an introduction into the music industry. And boy, did they perfect it. And boy, did we enjoy it and still enjoy it. So he has great contribution to that. As a child with his siblings and also future bandmates, Freddie and Rose. Now, his brother Freddie and his sister Rose was in the Family Stone, Sly and the Family Stone group. He also began to play with Larry Graham. Now, Larry Graham is a wonderful guitarist, I think bassist actually. And as the group begin to grow and expand and have their direction as to how they'd like to proceed in music, there began to be great conflict with Sly Stone and Larry Graham as to how that would play out. And Larry Graham eventually had his own uh, single career. So there you have that. In the mid 70s, Sly Stone's drug use and erratic behavior effectively ended the group. He was leaving many of his solo albums and many of his engagements early, and he wasn't showing up as an artist. But he was still collaborating with, Parliament Funkadelic, Bobby Womack, and others as he was going through this period and this challenge with drugs. Now, we know that in the 70s, and certainly I would say in the late 70s and early 80s, I believe that's a time when angel dust was popular, and Sly Stone also was somewhat of um, a person who would experiment with drugs, I'll put it that way. And so the talent was being imposed upon by his drug use, I'll put it that way. So during that time, there were all types of drug experimentations, and that made performing very difficult for him. But by then, they had quite a catalog of music from If You Want Me to Stay, I Want to Take You Higher, just many, many number one hits, and had already been inducted into the uh, Hall of Fame. Now, as his career continued, he began to have the challenges that I forementioned with his agent, and this made life for him difficult. Now, he had financial difficulties with these personal problems with his agent, Mr. Goldstein, who had at one time restricted his monies because of the drug use, but then at another time had not been paying them because of the royalties. And so that created a hardship for Sly. But he was also at the same time struggling with drugs. But nonetheless, we have his music and we have his many years of performance. If you ever got a chance to see him live, what a show. He was also very known for his wonderful afro, his wonderful style, his Afrocentric ways, his ability to play so many different musical instruments, his ability to produce music and to bring a different sound into the music industry, that he'll always be remembered for that. And for that, we are forever grateful. I want to say that I would add that when he collaborated with Funkadelic, uh, those times were very rewarding for him, but there too became challenges with George Clinton. Now, I just happened today to see a documentary called Tear the Roof Off. I'm going to drop that in the description box. It had nothing to do with my learning of the passing of Sly Stone. I was interested in the documentary and I had time to see it today. And George Clinton was quite difficult to work with in the realm of paying for your work from this documentary. Like I said, I'll cast no dispersions and I'll make no judgments. You can see for yourself from this documentary of individuals who actually performed with him, worked with him behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, were band members who actually written music and their challenges with George Clinton. So for Sly Stone to have one as well is not surprising. There was only a short bit of Sly Stone reference in this documentary. He did not participate in it, but it was the telling of the story from his musical historians as they discuss how difficult George Clinton was. And this is not a piece for George Clinton, by the way. This is just a fact of Sly's life. Also, some of the challenging times that he had, that he began to become arrested for use of cocaine. And he also was not showing up for many of his shows. But again, I am not choosing to focus on those facts in this short video. I will drop some links to his biography in detail in this Wikipedia and some other references for you to read on your own. But for me, I just want to celebrate the man, the music, the contribution that he made to the musical world, and to say rest in peace, and may we all be blessed for the fact that one song that he made that's called Everyday People resonates with all of us, that despite who you are, whether it's a famous person who's wealthy or a wealthy person who's not famous, the guy next door, the girl you work with, the person you meet at the market, the person you pass by who didn't speak back to you, we are all everyday people. And if nothing else, if you want to live a rich and rewarding life, to me, you will express some sense of patience with others, goodness and kindness, even when we are in a realm of disagreement by creativity, because creativity, when you're in a creative mode, you are at that time making something that doesn't exist yet. So you are in your, what I call your God or goddess mode. And it's difficult, especially when you're a genius like I believe he is, because his music is such a legacy. So having said that, since we all everyday people, I am going to leave us with that sound and say a sweet good night, and may his soul rest in peace. Sly Stone, rest in peace. Good night.